Okay, Matt. Noah Gragson.
I thought we were gonna go there, and we never did.
Yeah, it never came up. So I mean, this could just be a bonus segment. Okay, so Noah Gragson. Um, the I think everyone had the gut reaction Saturday. You were at a short track right somewhere covering something Saturday. So
Yeah.
when did you get to like take in everything that
I,
happened?
I am always multitasking. So I was
Yeah.
at Hickory Motor Speedway, but I had my tablet sitting on top of the press box window with the Xfinity race on. So I was watching. I was watching in real time. I wasn't tweeting about it because I was tweeting Hickory stuff, but I was watching. And let me think of how I
Oh,
want to word this.
oh,
One,
pop quiz, Matt. Who won the race Saturday?
does it really matter if Justin Allgaier won the race? That's not that's of non-importance, right? Because that wasn't the story. But it's a shame. And I remember you tweeted about this. It was
last
kind of
last
dark. It was like,
I tweeted it last night. Just a reminder:
yeah,
Justin Allgaier won
yeah,
the Xfinity race Saturday. It was his 15th win in the Xfinity series and his 12th for Junior Motorsports,
goes for JRM.
which leads Junior Motorsports.
Yeah, which I
So
thought that was a fair point because it's not the story, and it's so remarkable because for the second time this season, Noah has supplanted the race winner, and I forget who won. What was
Myatt
the other race?
Snyder, Myatt
Oh
Snyder,
yeah, Myatt
Myatt
was the
Snyder,
guy.
first
That's
career
why.
first career
That's why I
win.
forget. Yeah, I ended up writing a story that week on Noah and not Myatt, and I'm so mad about it. I've got a story that's coming out on Ty Gibbs. I haven't did anything on Ty's win because I've been told this year not to focus as much on Xfinity and trucks because people don't read it. It's not my choice. So if anyone sees that I'm not doing as much of it this year, it's not my choice. I was told not to, but there's certain stories I want to touch on. So Myatt's going to get a feature. Ty is going to get a feature tomorrow. I asked Kyle Busch one question to kind
Yeah,
of wrap that one up. But here's the deal. I have known Daniel Hemrick. It's 2021. I first met Daniel Hemrick in 2010. So I've known Daniel for 11 years. And Daniel is always super positivity, optimistic, hashtag head down, fin up. That
mm-hmm.
was his slogan in late model racing.
Well,
I have
now that you
never,
now okay, I think I know where you're. Yeah, I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah, keep going.
he is never ever, and keep in mind, I run a pavement short track website. So I covered his 2013 Southern Super Series championship, beating Bubba Pollard by 1 point. I covered his CRA Pro Late Model Championship. He was never, ever, period, involved in any altercation. There were
Yeah.
moments, there was one race at Gresham, the World Crown 300, where I thought he would be in a fight. And he shrugged it off. Not a big deal. He's a lover, not a fighter.
Yeah.
I've never seen him so incensed to want to throw hands. And I tweeted that. But before I finish that thought, let's move to Noah. I don't want to vilify Noah without giving proper context. I can't figure out Noah right now, and I've talked to Noah, and all you can do is take Noah at face value. Listen, we all know that Noah, he has to be going through kind of a hard time
Yeah.
given what's going on with his dad. It's no
Mm-hmm.
secret. We all know the news.
Well,
His dad was
which has largely been left out of. It's never mentioned
well.
on TV
Yeah,
or anything, so no one
this is
really
where I'm getting at.
knows.
I want to finish this point because it's
Yeah.
super important. We don't talk about it in the media because it doesn't have a direct
Yeah.
correlation on him, but I think it does. But I think that the NASCAR media corps has always done a good job of trying to separate, unless it's absolutely necessary, personal and the professional. I remember Gluck wrote a column at SB Nation about why the NASCAR media corps, despite knowing for months that Kurt and Eva had divorced or separated, why it was never brought up in anyone's story. And it was just it's kind of this code that unless it has something to do directly with competition, you don't bring it up. But you can Google it. Gluck wrote the story in like 2011 or whatever. So I think that we try to be respectful to Noah, knowing that he didn't make that choice. He gets vilified for it. He gets beat up for something that he didn't do. But this is where I'm getting at. Noah's dad was a huge part of his career growing up. In his late model days, in his K&N days, he and his dad are close.
Yeah.
and he was always part of that story. So how could it not affect him on a personal level?
Crow probably doesn't know what we're even talking about. So why don't you loop him in?
Yeah, so I feel so dirty talking about it because I don't.
Yeah.
It's not. It's so hard because it's news, right? But it's also a personal thing. So his dad was under the influence behind the wheel, drunk driving, involved in a crash, and there was a death. And he's in jail. I believe he's still serving, right?
I don't know. Like I
Yeah,
never
I
saw
don't know either,
anything
but he
about.
either
So
had served or was serving time. And it's been really hard on the family. It's been really hard on Noah because Noah, who already has a very abrasive kind of public persona, he's embraced the black hat. He gets told every horrible thing on Twitter because people hold him responsible for what happened to his dad. And that part's not fair. That part's not fair. And he hears it, and you know it has to be in his head. And I don't know how much it's kind of influencing his persona that he tries to shrug it off. Because here, I want to tell this story about Noah. And I wrote about this after he won the Snowball Derby. People were criticizing Noah after he won the Snowball Derby because there was the thing that happened in Victory Lane with the trophy girl, and it looked like he kind of forced a kiss, but people didn't see the context. So there was a conversation before the race, and there's just more to it than that. But people think, oh, well, Noah's super entitled and spoiled. And listen, Noah can be that stereotypical rich kid, but he's also all heart. Noah Gragson has a ton of heart, and he cares so much about the racing, his race team, his friends. His friends mean the world to him. And I remember I talked to Brandon McReynolds for a story I wrote last week about Noah, or 2 weeks ago. I called up Brandon and I said, Brandon, how much of this is real and how much of this is just trying to put on a persona? And he says that this is real. Noah really doesn't care unless you're in his inner circle. He cares when Dale or Kelly or when Brandon or when anyone who's a part of that group has something to say. But if you're outside of that circle, it doesn't matter to him. So you throw this all into a blender and you have moments like, was it Vegas?
Which last year or this?
No, this year.
Oh, yeah, the thing with David Starr that was Homestead.
It was Homestead. She had Homestead. Now you have Atlanta, and I asked Noah this on the media availability. I said, you say you don't mind wearing the black hat, that you see the things people say on social. How do you not take that to heart? How do you not let it be a distraction? How do you not let it eat at you? And he says that I'm not worried about it. I know the people I need to answer to and talk to. I just keep going back to, I know that this thing has happened in his personal life.
Yeah.
And I hope, I don't know. I don't, ultimately, we don't know. I just hope that when he says that it doesn't bother him, what people are saying about the personal stuff, I hope that it doesn't bother him. I just don't know if it truly doesn't, because this isn't sustainable. It's not sustainable.
I completely agree.
Not that it's not sustainable in the fact that you can't go through racing having your teammates be mad at you last year. I know he and Justin have apparently patched things up, but Justin was frustrated. He got raced too hard. Bristol comes to mind, obviously. That's one part of not sustainable. It's hard to race when Daniel Hemrick, who is one of the nicest guys in the sport, has a chip on his shoulder. When Harrison Burton, also one of the nicest dudes, gives Daniel the fist bump because he wanted to see him get hit. You can't race that way. But also just on a personal level, I want to keep going back to the personal level. It's really hard to drown yourself in knowing that people hate you and want you to lose and to have negative success. On a personal level, you can't exist that way. And I worry for him sometimes on a personal level, because maybe right now he doesn't care, but you can't do that a year from now, 2 years from now. Even Tony Stewart had to be able to eventually separate himself from it.
Well, yeah. So, like, first off, when you brought up, I never saw Hammer do anything like that, it's like it brought me back to Matt Kenseth going after Keselowski in between haulers at Charlotte.
Yeah.
Matt Kenseth? What is happening? I never even really made that kind of connection until you started going down that path with Hammer.
Listen,
Like
I think the world of Brad too. Brad was out of control that day, and let me tell you why. Brad drove through garages. Like it
I
was
mean,
so
I was there that day,
yeah.
so
Like
I didn't see everything, but
I
yeah, I was
had to
there.
take evasive measures to get away from Brad because Brad was just driving like a bat out of hell. So that was justified too.
So yeah, but those are very similar in that who's the last guy you'd expect to come charging up pit road, and I definitely wouldn't have put Hemrick in that conversation. Um, I think what Noah said about Hemrick's career, I can get why he's upset with what's going on with his career. It's like that was completely uncalled for. It had nothing to do with what happened on pit road. Um, uh, I, I, with everything that's happened with Noah, starting basically at Las Vegas last year with Myatt Snyder, and uh, through with Riley Herbst at Texas, and then I believe at the Roval, I think is when that came back around, and then
And he and Riley are friends.
yes,
That's the hard part. Like you can't be alienating your
they're
friends.
Vegas native. Yeah, they're Vegas natives and friends. Then you have the thing with Justin, which I didn't really put much into the whole thing with Justin. That was just Justin being mad.
There was more
didn't.
to that than just Bristol. Though there were several instances where Noah ran him pretty hard. I can't remember where it was. There were some
Okay,
facts that kind of bled over. It wasn't just Bristol.
but then you have Kentucky with Harrison, but which I mean, Noah put Harrison into the wall, right?
It's been so long, I forget.
But then you have that shot of them in the garage and Harrison shoving Noah. I mean, like Harrison was the instigator. Hemrick was sort of the instigator
He was
on Saturday. But then Noah comes out swinging. He doesn't. There's no room to tuck down from anything. It's just go full throttle after some point. But everything that happened up until Saturday, no one's going to take Noah's word for anything right now. Um, Noah posted his video of his pit stall saying, "See, this is what happened," and then Hemrick's like, "Dude, you were flipping me the bird, and if you zoom in on the window of the 9 card, there's something poking out." So Noah did not have to back up as far as he did. The pit box in front of him was clear. He could there's so many other ways he could have gotten into his stall the right way, and he backed up square into Daniel Hemrick's car.
And nearly into crew members. That was the most worrisome part.
Oh yeah, I mean,
it's a completely different story and narrative if someone was there and someone was nearly there.
Yeah. So yeah, you could say all you want. Oh, it was just a chain reaction thing with cars not being able to get installed. Sure, but from the point where the 9 starts backing up, the narrative changes. So, but I know like Jenna Fryer had a column today about, hey man, this guy's got a personality. Why are we trying to stifle him? No, there's a difference between having a personality and being self-destructive, and allowing that self-destructiveness to escalate. I know on Dale Jr.'s podcast after the whole David Starr situation, he's like he doesn't want to be like a helicopter team owner. He wants Noah to like figure stuff out. It's like I after everything that's happened for the last 2 years, at some point you have to take the gloves off.
Keep in mind too that Noah said that last year people tried to tone him down, and he claims that it made him slower. And he says, well, this year, this is his words.
Yeah.
This year he's going to do it his own way, and it's not helping. It's certainly not helping on the results either.
He hasn't finished 50% of the races so far.
Yeah.
So
that part's not sustainable either.
No, it's not. He hasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. He hasn't won since that Bristol race, where everything with Justin, right?
Sounds right. Yeah.
Justin's won twice since then. So, Justin win was a big deal for Junior Motorsports. I think they really needed that because nothing's been going their way through the season so far. But like one of the weirdest media availabilities I've seen in my 6 years was Noah's after Homestead, where he's driving the car down the road, and like I didn't watch it live. I was seeing like videos as they came in on Twitter, and like you posted one tweet, and I read the quote before I watched it, and just reading his quote was I was very concerned about what I was reading, and then I watched it. I'm like, dude.
I had some reservations before I even posted that. So I was like, I'm aware he's driving. And I'm like, I'm not going to put it in the tweet because I don't want to, like, when I tweet it, people will see it. And I don't want to make that part of the narrative because people will make it a part of the narrative.
Yeah.
But it's just, and NASCAR came out with a rule since then too.
Yeah.
NASCAR's come out with a rule saying that you can't be in a moving vehicle. Can't believe you got to say that out loud.
But it was a combination of it. It wasn't just Noah. It's been like Kozlowski driving.
Yeah, Brad at least had the wherewithal to say, "Hold on, give me a minute. I'm here."
Yeah, he pulled it like to a gas station parking lot.
Yeah,
but even last year, Truex he did it at least once. So
I remember him doing it on a boat once. I don't know if that's a moving vehicle, but he's quite the outdoorsman.
So
but listen, I want to wrap this up. I don't want to beat up Noah, but the thing that I say this on a human level is a guy I consider we're not friends, like we don't hang out.
No,
but like we know each other very well. We've known each other for a long time. So I worry about him just on a human level because I know he's gone through some stuff. I trust the support group around him. I know that Dale doesn't want to push too hard, but when he decides he needs to, and Kelly and all those guys, LW, that's a good group of support. And Brandon McReynolds is a really smart, savvy guy. He's more than just a spotter and an ex-race car driver. He's a smart guy. So I just hope that everyone is just super cognizant of all the things that are going on in his life, because it's certainly an element. And I hope that he doesn't allow wearing the black hat and being the bad guy to drown himself in it, because that's a hard way to live. Because no matter what persona you play, we all want to be liked, right? Like we all want friends.
Yeah.
We all want to feel like we're respected and admired. And even if we can shrug off the haters, we play, play Shake It Off, Shake It Off.
Yeah.
We all drive around listening to that song. It's like, yeah, shake it off. Ultimately, you can't drown yourself in that being the bad guy persona.
Yeah.
I just worry for Noah on a human level, knowing all the things that have been going on, that it could spiral out of control. And we're seeing things that could be that. It could just be he's playing the bad guy. And if he just wants to play the bad guy, cool. I just hope that it's not real world stuff eating away at here.
Yeah, like another thing, like people NASCAR needs personalities. They do need black hats. But I don't want people to mistake like having a personality or with having a lack of self-awareness. And I think that's kind of like borderline the case in the situation, is just a lack of the peripherals of what is going on.
A good analogy, and I think he would agree too. Kurt Busch. Kurt Busch has gone through such a great. This isn't me picking on Kurt. Kurt will admit it.
Yeah.
Kurt has had to adjust his reactions and his responses. He's come a long way from threatening to kick Bob Pockrass's ass at Dover. Was it Dover?
I have no idea.
Yeah. But he's grown, and you're never too old, or it's never too late to grow. We're trying to, all of us wake up every day and try to be the best version of ourselves that we can be. But I think Kurt is proof that you can acknowledge some things that are just not ideal and perfect and grow. And I would love for maybe Kurt to talk to Noah, because I think that Kurt was okay being the black hat bad guy too. But there comes a certain
not just Kurt, but both Busch brothers.
Both
really?
Busch brothers, yeah. I think both of them are.
I mean,
they're content with who they are as people and where they are in their career. They've got to make that step. There is a step that Noah has to take, even if he wants to play that role.
I mean, Kyle said today that like there's hundreds of videos on YouTube of after
not winning.
Led lots of laps and didn't win and being pissed off. He's no stranger to it. So yeah, have both Bush brothers sit down with them. I mean,
Yeah.
Kyle's his former team owner. So, so like, what would have been your observations through the Twitter stuff with all this, Crow?
I just think that
Crow.
oh, Crow. Oh.
Crow.
I mean, I'm not really educated enough on the individual personalities to have an opinion, other than just kind of what I've seen on like how he is utilizing social media and stuff. It just, you can tell that he's definitely someone that like feels very strong emotions, and maybe either never really fully developed the ability to process those, or is unable to right now due to circumstances that we talked about. And I think having like he's really the counter personality to someone like Dale Jr. So if that's sort of his primary mentor, maybe like I said, maybe having someone like a Bush brother or someone to be there and kind of learn from their experiences could be a good benefit for him, and just for his like health as a human being.
Well, I mean, when it comes to Dale Jr., if there's anyone you want to talk to, a driver who's specifically going through something related to his dad, Dale Jr. would be the right person to talk right now with him, just on that. But
Listen, Dale went through some phases in his early career and his growth as a person too. Like Dale was a wild child,
but he was never the bad boy though.
He was never the bad boy.
So,
but
yeah,
he had a reputation for being stubborn, for being a pain, for being a little bit wild and rambunctious. So we all think of Dale, the guy he is now, super classy, super mature. He had to work through that too, and I think Dale's talked about it before. So I'm not speaking out of turn. So I think that Dale has to figure out the right balance of being the team owner and being the friend. That's hard. But I think there is actually a really good place for Dale to be in that conversation. And he is. Like, I'm not going to say he's not, because he has been. But obviously right now, this year, the start of 2021, it's problematic, not because whether you like him as a person or you agree or whatever. It's clearly affecting the on track. So that narrative about Noah saying, it slowed me down last year and it hurt my performance, this is hurting your performance.
Oh yeah, like his thing of, it's my job to get people to me, so I must be doing something good. The thing, even bad press is good press. I've never subscribed to that. Bad press, accumulation of bad press is not good. So
bad press that is managed well can be good press, but at this point, he doesn't have control over the narrative at all.
Yeah, I don't know if bad press, where you're also 14th in points in a JRM car, is kind of the formula.
Yeah. So like we said, he hasn't finished 30% of the races. So they're going to Martinsville next. He's won there in trucks, so he has a chance to turn it around. But I don't. Yeah, I'm concerned about where that's going. And like we said, Justin Allgaier won the race Saturday. Myatt Snyder won Homestead. I have barely heard Myatt Snyder's name mentioned in 3 weeks since then. He hasn't really done anything on the track since then to warrant it, but still haven't heard him. And Allgaier deserves to have some attention for a surprise win, given the Martin Truex Jr. Had that race until the speeding penalty, and he almost got back to Allgaier, but he didn't. So all right, man. I think that's good for our After Dark segment. Thanks for doing this, man. It was 2 hours. I enjoyed every minute of it. That was fun.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.